What's up, everybody? This is Danny with All Day Lazy Gaming. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to build a cleric, but this isn't going to be like the most party friendly cleric. This isn't going to be the battle cleric. This is going to be a self-sufficient cleric, and by self-sufficient I mean you're going to be able to do a lot of solo adventure quests by yourself without the use of another team member. Now you are going to have hirelings and stuff like that throughout the entire game. That doesn't ever get old. No matter what level you are, hirelings are freaking epic. They save you a lot of energy, a lot of time. So we are gonna realize that you might be using, or you most likely will be using a hireling throughout the whole thing. But that does not mean you um that you can't do solo adventures by yourself. Now, soloing with clerics is really good, and the reason why I wanna stress that a lot is because when you're new to this game, you want to make sure that you learn the quest before you go into parties that start zerging the quest. And by that I mean there's a lot of people, and I'm like this too. Some people want to just jump in and do everything, but there's a lot of people that like to go into a quest for the first time on normal or even on solo mode and kind of just follow the rules and just kind of say, okay, so from here I'm supposed to go here, and kind of learn the quest. That way later on when somebody else plays with them, they don't kind of feel like they're getting left behind. And on the flip side, these guys right here, clerics themselves, will be able to keep up with pretty much any class just because they don't have the fear of taking a bunch of damage in the front line because they can heal themselves. So you end up seeing a lot more when you're a cleric, and you end up getting into a lot more parties because you're more user friendly. There's more group friendly. There's a more need for a cleric in a group than there is for, say, a wizard or even a druid and stuff like that. Although those are really good classes, and if you play them right, you play them right. But clerics realistically are one of the most needed or wanted classes. Like if you have a party with like 6 clerics, it'll take you a little bit longer to do a quest, but I guarantee you that quest is gonna get finished. And as far as everything goes, so we're gonna go with cleric. We are gonna do a customized class, which means we're gonna customize all the stuff. It doesn't it, it's overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing. Um, as far as our character goes, we are gonna go with the human. I just want to change the face for real fast. Maybe looking. Whoa, it's exactly the same. That's funny. That kind of reminds me of the improbability drive in the guide, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That'll do. All right. So now there's a couple of things that a lot of people like to do when it comes to soloing. They like to pretty much just make sure that they are, balanced out in all these skills. Well, I say do this. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. That's it. That's all you gotta do. The reason we don't put anything into dexterity is because later on we'll get items and stuff like that, and we'll be wearing armor that will actually hinder, that won't have a really high dexterity bonus. And even if you do, you'll be able to buff yourself or have like equipment that gives you like +4 to dexterity, and then you use like a heroism buff which gives you +4 to everything else. So by then you should be able to max out your thing. But this is going to give you the ability to pretty much muscle your way through everything because you are going to be killing a lot of stuff. And on the flip side, you can heal yourself anyway, so it's not like you're missing out on anything as far as like, okay, so you take an extra 2 points of damage. Okay, well, you're gonna heal yourself anyway, so you might as well get get the advantage of that. The reason we want to max out wisdom is because wisdom is part of your main arsenal. You need that to do everything. Now right here, this helps you with your damaging spells. Proves your spell damage, blah 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 blah. Not an issue. We're not going to be doing damaging spells too much. We are going to have crowd control spells, but that's not going to be as crazy as what they're assuming. Okay, so right here, as you can see, we get our regular feat, we get our human bonus feat. Humans get a bonus feat, and then we get a class specific feat. Now, for class specific, pretty much this is saying that the game knows that clerics kind of suck in the beginning, so it's going to give you a benefit to a weapon. We're going to actually go with longswords because longswords later on actually become really, really cool. They're one-handed weapons, so you can equip the shield as well as a longsword. And on the flip side, longswords usually get really, really good side effects. Like they get like fire damage, lightning damage, or cold damage. As far as our spells go, we're going to get mental toughness because we want the extra SP points. We want the extra 1% critical chance that comes with it. And all these things right here, these are all weapon focus. If you're a fighter, you want to get stuff like this. We're going to skip that just because we don't need it. The other ones that are really good for first level are alignment summoning, augment summoning, sorry. What this does is it pretty much just gives +4 ability score to your creatures. So your creatures come out with +4 everything else. So they're a lot stronger and they're a lot better, and it's actually really cool. Combat casting is it gives you +4 concentration. We could use that, but we don't really need it because our concentration is actually pretty decent right now. As far as all these other things right here, they all have a really cool effect. If you guys don't know, the ones that are in a square are active effects. They're triggered, and the ones that are in a what is this, hexagon or what the hell? Anyways, the ones that are in this little circle-ish thingy, I forget what the fuck it's called, sorry, are passive skills, which will show you right here. So what you can do is you can actually turn off everything except for the passive skills if you don't want toggle effect skills. I personally like to do this when I'm new just because I like to see what the difference is. And let's skip all the BS. From here you want to take toughness. Toughness gives you +3 hit points at first level, and then it also gives you one additional hit point every single level. So you're gonna naturally just get more hit points throughout the entirety of the game. Really well worth it. You don't have a bunch of HP right off the bat, so toughness is gonna go ahead and supply you with the HP that you're missing, and it's gonna make up for the 2 constitution points that you're not gonna be getting. Let's press next. So as far as spells goes, you are granted an automatic 15 first level spells. You can't use but 3 in the beginning, and every time you get a new spell, whatever the cure spell is or the damage to monster spell is definitely going to always be equipped, so you only get 2 spells. So we're only going to be able to use 2 out of these 15 spells right off the bat that we're going to be able to select, other than the cure light wounds, which is fine because we're still going to have a heal spell. As you can see, our spell points should be at 80, but we have 90 because we get the feat into it. We get a lot of really cool things like heavy armor proficiency. This is where I was knowing that you don't really need a bunch of dexterity, because our armor is gonna pretty much destroy your dex anyways. As far as the character goes, I'm just gonna go with random. That works actually. I don't like the eyebrows, so let's switch those out. Focus. Let's do those with like makeup and stuff like that. What lips are these? Let's get those lips. It changes everything. I like the cheekbones and stuff like that. I'm actually going to leave the hair and all the colors the same, just because I'm freaking lazy and I don't want to do that. Alright, so that's all done. We're going to name this character. What are we going to name this character? This character is going to be named can I get Lux? No. So I can't take that one. That one's already taken, unfortunately. It sucks. What about love magic? Really, somebody take love magic? What about how about love caster? Oh, cool, we got love caster. That's fine. And I did do another tutorial on this on the Zerg, but I didn't actually like it in the end, so I'm gonna do this one for this character. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that you guys understand the difference between soloing an adventure, learning the adventure, and zerging the adventure. By zerging, if you play by yourself and you play with a bunch of people, and we get this a lot, and by we I mean like the community, we understand that there's sometimes a group of people who are just like freaking running past everything. They're leaving all the monsters behind and they're doing this and that. And if you don't, for some reason, like keep up with them from the very beginning, you're freaking dead. Unfortunately, that's a Zerg. It's a Zerg mission. I know it because I can do it too. Barbarians are meant for that stuff like that. There's other really cool classes that do that. Let's turn off the hints. Close. Pretty much I turn off the hints because I don't want all those stupid ass pop-ups to come out. Now the first thing you get right when you come in is you get your daily dice. I love my daily dice. Sometimes I get really lucky. Oh my god, 500 experience points. I'll take it. Ooh, hey. Oh, you know what? You see this little thing right here? This means that I can prepare my spells. Almost forgot. Press C. Sorry about that. It freaking crashed on me. And let's look at our character. So we have 16, 8, 10, 8, 18, and 8. Now I know a lot of people are saying, well, shut up. This will be fine. Don't worry about it. So right now we actually just want to show what the active skills are, because those are the ones that we want to move down here and do that. We have sneak, which I'm not ever going to use. We have a cure light wounds, which I'm going to equip right there. And we have the turn undead. Pretty much this means that if there's undead around me, I can turn them and hopefully kill them. This heal spell will get the hell out of here. We don't need that. And we are going to equip our search to that key over there. Let's go to our spells. Pretty much you can just go like this to your spells and figure out what you want to do. Now what I like to do as a level 1 is I like to make sure I don't get hurt that much. Now you can cast your Night Shield, you can cast your Divine Divinity. I actually like to take command right off the bat, just because command is freaking funny. It helps you a lot more than what you would imagine, and we like to take the doggy. So once those are equipped, let's go like this. Actually put command right there. Switch this over to number 4, and let's put the doggy right there. Now that actually doesn't automatically equip the doggy. What you want to do is you want to double click, figure out which one you want to cast the most, and then put that one in your hotbar. Close this, and now whenever I click on that, it's going to for sure summon my dog. So I'm not going to actually skip this. I'm going to go through the entire tutorial just so I can show you guys the difference between knowing what you're doing and not knowing what you're doing. And by knowing what you're doing, I pretty much just mean testing your character out. You always want to test your character out. This is a really easy way to test your character out, because you don't have to heal yourself. You don't have to cast bless. You just have to pretty much just do a bunch of normal stuff and go that way. Now as you can see, they have a long sword. We are actually very strong with long swords because we have pretty good damage. If you guys don't know the details, just press this little button right here and it'll tell you your overall thing. It'll tell you the damage of this, and it'll tell you things, and that's for your inventory. This shows you what weapon you have. Now if you go to your character, you can see your armor class, you can see all the fortitude saves that you have. Right now my reflexes are really bad, but that's not going to be a big issue for us because we can save ourselves, and realistically we're going to give ourselves resistance and stuff like that later on. So even when we do finally get to the point where like, you know, we need to like dodge a lightning bolt or something like that, it'll be okay because we'll have lightning resist by then. What does this do? This gives us discover a treasure. You get +1. Oh, I'll take it. So for the next 3 hours, my treasures are going to be upgraded. I like that. So pretty much he tells you need to go talk to his friend Salinas, which is a rogue that's over here waiting for you to do a quest. If you guys don't know, let's put the map right in the middle of the freaking screen. Why not? We start here, we follow this path to the south kind of and go this way. Then we get to this area right here, which is where we want to talk to Salinas. Now, when you open a quest guide, this is going to be our first quest. It'll give you options to how you want to do it. 4 options are solo, normal. You have to do normal before you do hard or elite, unless you're a premium player, which means you pay money to be a VIP player, or you've already done the quest. Now, personally, I think it's a good idea to do it on normal first, unless you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then by all means, whatever. I am Dalara. Sounds good. Let's get the hell out of here. Let me take this off. Oopsie. I don't like having the starter rags. I actually like the equipment, like the underwear, I guess you would call it, more than the starter rags, because this doesn't look as cheap. It looks more like a bikini type deal. so I prefer that. Now, whenever you get to ladders, you want to jump up the ladder and try to land like when your jump is at its highest peak. Of course, that doesn't always happen, but if you get lucky, you get lucky. Now, when we come over here and we see a mob, there's a couple of things we can do. We can command it, and what that does is it pretty much just locks it, keeps it still, and it'll allow us to get free hits on it. Now, your command spell is actually really strong at this level because it has a save of 15 will. That is pretty high for a level 1, which we are a level 1, and that's going to really help us out throughout the entirety of this start. Now later on it's not going to be as useful. It will still be useful, but later on you won't really need to command things. You'll pretty much just need to make sure that everything around you just survives a little bit longer. And as you can see, we are going to be doing a lot of damage to these guys because our strength is pretty high. We do have pretty decent health, and later on we're going to have decent armor too, so we're going to be able to do our job. And our job is going to be to be part of a cleric isn't necessarily a frontline character. They're more of a midline support. And by midline, I mean like you're not in the front, but if the front line for some reason is giving you trouble, you go ahead and you run up and you make sure that they're a little bit safer. And as far as the back line, you just want to make sure that you're a buffer zone for anything in the back line. Like you want to make sure that nothing gets to your back line because your back line is super squishy. And if you can prevent them from taking any damage, that also helps you save SP because you won't have to heal them and you can focus healing just the front line, which are going to be your melee units, like your monks and stuff like that. Now, of course, if you want to play a different class, if you don't want to be a healer, by all means, don't be a healer. But this guide is still going to help you for the purposes of learning what quests you need to do at a level 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to level up all the way to 3. I figure that should be enough guidance to start off with. After that, you can kind of pretty much just uh, take it slow and follow your own guide or whatever the hell. But this is going to be really, really good for all the newcomers. They're going to learn how to do the quest. They're going to learn what is required of them when they do certain quests, and then you kind of get a hang of what the game feels like without actually having to spend hours and hours and hours of your time trying to decipher the freaking puzzle that is DDO. So we're going to talk to him because there's a trap right there. He's a rogue, so his job is to find and disable the trap. If you're a rogue, it actually lets you do the trap right there. But he's a rogue and I just want him to do it because he does it really fast. So, let's go that. Let's go this, and as you can see, I'm right in front of all the characters in here because they have dialogue. I kind of want to save the dialogue, and by save it, I mean I don't really want it to be an issue. By issue, I mean I don't want them to. Shut up. So whenever they get that little blue spear on their head, they get saved. But when they don't get it on their head, that happens, and they fall to their booties. You cannot command red bosses. Unfortunately, they're immune to a lot of the crowd control effects just because they're a boss character and the game wants you to actually have to fight them, which is fine. But other spells will work on them, so that'll work. So we get our breastplate, we get a shield, and then we get our ring. And the ring, what it does is it actually it gives us the ability to breathe underwater, so it's pretty good for our class. As you can see now, it shows me my shield, what it gives me. It does do damage, it does do a bunch of stuff, and as you can see, this bonus plus 3, that pretty much just gives us what the shield effects does. And then if you highlight the shield, it tells you that it gives you 2 to armor. So if we want to talk to Salimus again, and pretty much it gives us an option to give us a fire enchanted sword, which is really cool. You automatically get a really, really cool weapon. I'm going to take the sword just because we do more sword damage. So once that's there, let's go ahead and equip our sword. As you can see, my damage output is way better with this sword. I get bonus to +5. My bonus on the shield is +3, and the way that works is if you hold shift, you can actually use your shield to bash people. Shield bashing is kind of funny. You have a chance to do some pretty decent damage with that. Okay, so when you come into this world, it tells you that you should bind your spirit. We're not gonna do that because we don't really plan. We're not gonna die, but you can go into the tavern and bind your spirit with your character. In here, there's one person you should really know about. Well, there's two people you should really know about. There's a guy right here that for some reason he's not loading in, and this guy right here, the hiring vendor, sells you hired help, which is really good. Let's get rid of that. Let's lock this. What this does right here is this is the materials that you need to summon your doggy. This is a 500 experience that we're not going to use. We're going to save that. That's actually really good, but I don't need to use it right now. I want to use it later on. And we don't have any money. So the first quest I would recommend you do so you can get yourself a bunch of money, and it's really easy to do solo with your dog, is this quest right here. This quest guarantees you money. It's fast enough to where that it's fast enough so you don't have to do anything special, and you pretty much just get your loot right away. Now, if you press O, this opens up the party or the grouping menu. If you'll notice, there's people on a different. This says that I'm not allowed to join them because it's on a. They're on the sunny side. Right now, we're on the snowy side, which is a tutorial, which pretty much makes it so that we're only playing with brand new people that are doing not like that are going through the game for the first time. If you want to skip this, all you have to do is go to this post right here. There's somebody there, and it'll ask you if you want to travel to the harbor. You travel to the harbor, you skip the tutorial side of things, and then you simply come back and you can still do this on Sunnyside, but then you'll be able to join that group. This is the vendor right here that you want to talk to later on. As you notice on the map, there's a bunch of feathers. Those are trainers. Those are the guys that you want to talk to advance your level to the next stage. This guy's standing in front of the door. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but that's good. So as soon as we get in here, we want to summon our doggy, just because our dog is going to help us do a lot of really cool stuff later on. Now, if you break all the barrels and all the stuff like that, you do get a bonus to your experience and stuff like that. We're not going to do that just because I don't really need to. I'm going to end up going to the harbor to getting my my other experience over there because I feel that it's faster. And what you want to do is you want to come in here. Oh, you want to pick up the silver key. You want to fight whatever the hell's in here. As you can see, we do pretty decent damage. You want to cast command on this guy. If you get lucky, you can get him. He's not a red boss, as you can see. He's an orange boss. I know the color difference is kind of tricky to actually see, but he's considered an orange boss, and orange bosses can get most crowd control effects casted on them with success. Excuse me. It's a red boss that aren't the best, right? Perfect. So we got a tower shield. This is really good because you see how much it sells for. It sells for a lot of money. That's what we want. That's why I'm not picking up the stuff from the barrels and stuff like that. Just because the tower shield is going to give us a bunch of money, enough money to actually buy ourselves a bunch of stuff. Now I could pick up that potion and stuff like that, but we're going to end up buying potions over here with all the money we get from that one tower shield. I'm not actually able to equip the tower shield because if I do, it gives me -9 penalty. It will give me a good boost. So you can equip stuff that's not really meant for you, but on the flip side, you'll get penalized for it because you'll be you'll be at a disadvantage with the item, and the game knows, so it does actually set up for it to make sure that you don't have free access to just all the best stuff right off the bat without even earning anything or using the feats and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get that. Alright, so we got our first 400 experience, which is really, really nice. Let's go over here. Let's talk to this guy. Now, as you notice, I'm running a little bit slow. If I go to my character sheet and I go to my spells, there is, in fact, a, oh, I don't even have it. I'm sorry. I don't even have the spell. I'm thinking of sorcerer or wizard. Alright, so now we go in here to trade. When you trade this guy, it's pretty simple. If you do repair, he repairs all your items that are damaged. If you do buybacks, he does buybacks for the things that you got thrown, that even things that you throw away, and there's a timer on them. You can press this button to automatically sell all the gems. It gives you gold. As you can see, we already have 5 platinum, which is freaking phenomenal. If we sell this, we can sell this for 80 platinum. Boom, 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 boom. That is really good. That is really, really, really good. Alright, so let's get the buck away from him. And let's go over here to this hiring vendor. Now that we have the ability to use the hiring vendor, we want to get barbarians. What the hell? Bye. I want to get 3 of them. I don't know why the hell it's not letting me. Just do 3 back to back to back to back, but whatever. So after you finish a quest, if you go back to the person who gave you the quest, of course they give you a reward. In this case, this guy gives us 3 belts. The first belt gives you resistance to reflexes. The second one gives you enhancement to your fortitude saves. If you can see, we press character and go to stats. Our resistance is pretty low. Our fortitude saves are actually pretty decent. And the third belt gives you 5 maximum HP. I'm going to take the 5 maximum HP just because I don't really need the reflexes. I don't feel like I'm going to need them. And I'd rather have the extra little bit of hit points because it just looks cooler. And you can survive a little bit more for crazy damage output. So once that's done, we're going to go over here and we're going to do all the town quests on normal. That's going to be pretty good for us. It's going to get us really close to level... Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to do this. So once you get your hireling, you want to equip your hireling and put him on whatever number you want. Just remember, actually, I'm going to put him on number 4. Just remember what number you have him equipped at, because as soon as you press enter, you want to press that number on your keypad or wherever, and it'll automatically spawn him. So when you get a hireling, hirelings have their own little abilities. It's really cool. The last 4 are abilities that you can toggle for them. Like you can make him rage, you can make him try to trip somebody, and then you can make him cast intimidate. Of course, they do have a cast him and they do have cooldown times, but it's really cool that you can do these for them, and you can do this for all of the hirelings that you have. So if something's going wrong and you need them to do something, you can actually force them to do stuff. It's like I can have this guy open that lever by simply telling him to interact with it. Now, I always set my hireling to active just because I want my hireling to be its own person. And by be its own person, I mean I want my hireling to be able to make their own decisions. Pretty much that means that they can run around and do whatever the hell they want without you hindering their actions and their stuff. So what I like to do is I like to summon my pooch. I like to summon this hireling, have my hireling go to pretty much his own movement, because eventually he sees stuff and he's like, oh well, let me go kill this real fast. Look at that. Done. He saw him, he went, he killed him, and he came back. If you leave him on this one right here, this pretty much tells him to defend you. So if he sees a mob, he won't attack it. If he sees you in danger and something attacking you, he will attack you, but it's gonna take a little bit of a delay to do so. I like to make sure that it's not delayed. Let's trip him so he doesn't get to us. And what I'm doing is I'm just commanding everything to hit the ground. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want my hireling... Oh, I don't have line of sight. I want my hireling to be able to go kill them before they get to this crystal right here. If they get to this crystal right here, I'm pretty much screwed. Our job is to defend this crystal. It's pretty basic. But all we're going to do is we're just going to command everything and force him to go down. The reason why our command is so good is because we do have a really, really high probability of doing it because of the will save. Now the will save has to do with the enchantment school, so we can worry about that later on. But all you guys need to know is that 15 is a really high save roll for these guys. I'm gonna actually have to attack one myself. Oh, that wasn't good. And we're set. So every time you finish this quest, when there's only one more character left, you can always bet on him spawning in that little corner right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand right here just to show you guys. I always end up going to that corner, but I want to show you guys how easy it is to spot this very last one as soon as it spawns. It usually takes about 15 seconds after you kill the number 2. You can see he spawned right there. I saw him, my doggy saw him. Let's go murder this guy. Awesome. So we were able to kill him, and now we actually have our very first action point, which is our enhancement points. But first I want to show you guys what we get out of this chest. Now out of this chest you get 3 bracers. Bracers are really awesome. You get Axebane, which pretty much it reduces all physical damage taken by slashing weapons. It doesn't say it on here because it's written in a way so you understand that you're still taking damage from everything else, because it doesn't like to confuse people. Like, you're still taking damage. You're just not taking damage from weapons that are slashing. If you went to the spear, you would be taking reduced damage from weapons that are piercing. As you can see, this one says piercing, pierce. This one does not say pierce. Pretty simple, pretty basic. That's the way it works. I'm going to take the axe bane because I know for a fact that there's not going to be that many range attacks that are going to worry me right now. We're going to worry more about melee attacks. Alright, so now the quest number 2 is complete and we're getting other items. Now you can do the quest over and over and over to get the loot of the quest. Now